Hello, Reimaginers, and welcome back to the recap show, NWSL Championship Edition. It is going to be a very special episode. We're so excited that you decided to join us. We love making this show, and we love putting important stories into the world. So thank you for being here. Obviously, it was the NWSL Finals this weekend, so we've got a lot to cover, and we're going to get right into it. As always, Tobin, please start with the sports.
Okay, let's get into the sports. We had an awesome championship match. It had everything. It had the drama. It had the unexpected. It had the goals. It had the skills. And ultimately, it had a new champion, which was Gotham FC. Gotham FC defeated OL Reign 2-1 to hoist their first ever club trophy, which was just an exceptional game. I don't think anybody could say it wasn't deserved. They fully deserved to hoist it based on the game that was played. And for all of us there, for the 25,000 people that were there in the stands, it was a very entertaining match. And one that made us feel all our feels. But I think we should get straight into it in the daily discussion because there's so much about this game and the weekend that we have to break down. And we'll have to, break it down slowly because there was a lot there.
I can't wait. So this daily discussion, we are going to be breaking down the NWSL final match. I can't wait. I asked for this match to showcase the NWSL at its best. And say what you will about the NWSL, the style of play, transition, yada, yada. I think it's the most entertaining league in the world. It's open, it's energetic, and there's tons of goals. And I think we got the NWSL at its best during this final match. So I'm excited to bring Tobin, your analytical brain, to the world and share with everybody what you saw, what we saw, and how that felt. So, there's so much to cover, but I thought it would be fun to start with key players of the match.
Okay, so I'm excited to get into the top performers because I think there were some standout moments, standout players of this match, and dazzled us in this final, and that's what we asked for. We have to start with the MVP, Midge Purse. Snaps to her. She was absolutely phenomenal on both sides of the ball. People will remember the goal contributions, but on both sides of the ball, she was phenomenal. Just such an engine. And another key player was Lynn Williams for Gotham. She's living in a different category than any player has ever kind of reached in the NWSL. This is her fourth NWSL championship.
It's insane.
Her fourth. Yeah. 3 different teams.
Three.
Western New York Flash, North Carolina Courage, and
now Gotham.
She was obviously an addition to this team this year. And every year she's so effective and efficient in this league. And she's just, her style has proven to fit the style of the NWSL, and every year she turns up and she dominates this league, and she did it again, which is really cool to see. And then I think on the flip side, for OL, you have a player like Rose Lavelle who dazzled us.
I loved her finish. She obviously scored OL's only goal, and it was just one of those goals where you have too much time almost, and so people so frequently miss this, and she just showed all of her class, opened her hips, disguised where she was going with the ball, tucked it away.
Such class. She showed class all over the field, and that goal was exceptional. And we did talk about her peaking kind of at the right time, but she was worth the entertainment value. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that. And then finally, kind of to package it all up, I will say we have to give a lot of credit to Yellow Averbush, who's the GM of Gotham, who, publicly said last season wasn't good enough where they finished, and had a big kind of purpose to turn it around this season. Bring in Juan Carlos, their coach. Bring in an Ester Gonzalez post-World Cup Like those are some big moves that impacted this team, and then bringing in a known winner, a known entity in a Lynn Williams. I think that was like a really big change to what Gotham did. So cheers to
Yeah,
y'all.
and one thing that I love that you've mentioned is why Ester Gonzalez is a good fit. Because people will traditionally look at a Spanish player and think about a very, very distinctive style of play.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting style of play to see if it like could work in this league. And it generally takes time. But actually what you have pointed out to me about Ester is that she actually is sort of like an NWSL player on Spain or an NWSL player on her former team, Real Madrid, because she's scrappy, she hustles, she works, and it was the type of player that could seamlessly fit into a Gotham and help them raise the trophy.
She's world class, but if you take her style, like she's not much different than like a Kristen Hamilton, like just she works off the ball. She loves to be scrappy. She loves to post up. She presses all game long. And these are all attributes that you would give to like a lot of the forwards in the NWSL. So for people that weren't familiar with her, she actually fit very well to what Juan Carlos wanted to do with his front line at Gotham. And she brought, that, extra sophistication of that world-class player being able to see things and be in the box. And her header for the finish was exceptional, that she could have that much time and that much composure to finish on a corner kick like that. It was pretty unique to see.
Loved it.
All right.
Should
we keep going?
Let's keep this train going. So I am trying to think of the best way to approach what was a game with so many highs and lows. It was great hearing about the standout performances, because we know football, there's 100 moments that lead to a single moment, and there's 100 miles, and everything is pending on an inch. So I think the only way to go through this particular NWSL final is through key moments, because we were on a roller coaster in that stadium. Anyone that was watching that match was on an emotional roller coaster. So take us through the key moments of this final match.
That means we have to start with the first moment in the 3rd minute.
Yep.
Wow, we have to get straight into the hard stuff. So 3rd minute of the match, Pino off the ball goes down in a way that was a super unnatural. Like, immediately, something's seriously wrong by her body language. And look, for everyone at the stadium, I don't know what it was like if you were watching the game at home, but for everyone in the stadium, we were kind of all in disbelief of what was happening. Some people probably hadn't even taken their seats, and we were witnessing a moment that, we knew we were going to celebrate Megan Rapinoe. We knew that, whether she was going to win the game or not, that we were going to celebrate her in that moment. But we weren't ready in the 3rd minute of the game to watch a Megan Rapinoe not be able to even like walk herself, like had to be helped off the field for her final match. And the whole stadium was like subdued. And I was looking around trying to see if the stadium was processing what was happening. And I like looked over at you, and you were crying, and it was like such a complicated moment of feelings. Can you take me through like how you were feeling?
Well, you sure love to out me every time I shed a tear. Yeah. I mean, it was the first few minutes of the match, and I think you said it really well. We just were not ready for the end to come right at the beginning.
No.
And when I texted Pino after the game, I told her 3 tears hit the floor, because that's what happened. Like 3 giant, real tears hit the floor underneath my shoes. And And you know what I thought? I thought that those aren't tears of pity. That she's too important. She's had too big of a career. She's had too much success and joy playing this sport for us to have pity. That would be a disservice to the legacy that she's leaving. And the tears fell from my face with love and pride, to be able to have shared the field and the locker room with someone who has had such a long-lasting impact and will continue to have that long-lasting impact. And I think the injury, I stand in what I've been saying all along. Like, people want to think life's simple and that like injury is bad and that scoring and winning is good, right? And like, that's just not life. Like, we want life to just be linear. We want it to be a story, and it's not that. And what her injury symbolized to me was the amount of risk that we all put out every single time that we take the field, and that all of the highs, like, she's achieved the highest highs. She's named best player of the world, 2-time world championship, like mover and shaker in social impact. And none of those highs have the weight that they have unless there's the potential for the low. Oh. And that moment was the low, and in some ways it's just kind of a reflection and amplification of all of her highs, which she deserves. And never want to see anyone get injured, never want to see anyone in pain. But I think that it's some ironic and hard to swallow timing. Yeah. But we invest so much in this sport that we love, and it is a big risk, and that's part of what makes it so beautiful. So, I mean, Pino knows it. We're gonna miss her. Everyone's gonna miss her. We're gonna miss those Gumby limbs, and we're gonna miss her leadership and the power that she held. Yeah. She's one of the most electric players to ever play, and the legacy lives on.
Yeah, I think you said that she electrified our lives, and she electrified our sport, and I think that's such a good word for her.
With that highlighter pink hair.
But you were the first one that ever told her you get pink hair, so now it's your fault.
I was also the first one to tell her to go back to blonde, and she said, well, no, Pressy, this is me.
Yeah, special. Hey everybody, it's Tobin, and this episode of the Recap Show is sponsored by Element. As you all know, being a professional soccer player, it's tough. You travel a lot, you train a lot, and it's essential to stay hydrated. And in particular, the use of electrolytes to stay hydrated and to be and perform at our best. That's why I was so stoked to try Element, because it's a salty electrolyte drink mix. And I recently found out through a study that our team did on us that I'm actually a very salty sweater, which means I need Element and electrolytes even more. So I got to try all 8 flavors. I love the raspberry salt, but you don't just have to be a professional athlete to drink Element. Honestly, everybody needs electrolytes. So it's essential for us to stay hydrated, to drink electrolytes, and there's no better way to do it than through Element. Element can be mixed with pretty much everything. I mix it with water. You can sip on it because it really tastes good. Take it down, and you know that for the day, you'll be hydrated. And the best news ever is through our code and through our link, you can try Element for free. You can get 8 single-serve packets for free with any Element order. It's a great way to try all 8 flavors, to pass them around to your friend, to figure out which one you like best. Get yours today at drinkelement.com/recap. And remember that this deal is only available through my link. So go to drinklmnt.com/recap. And the best part is Element offers a no question asked refund. Try it totally risk-free. I don't know if a deal gets any better than this. And if you don't like it, you can share it with a friend. I'm sure they'll like it. And if not, try another friend. You have nothing to lose and only electrolytes to gain. Big thanks to Element. Now back to the recap show. So we get back to the sports. You know, one of the best players goes down. OL quickly has to regroup. And this is a moment in sports where either a team can come together and they can actually find, more meaning in a match. And they can find more energy. And they almost come out like these crazy people that have been just ignited by something. And then there's another thing that can happen where the moment can kind of overwhelm you. And I think we saw a little bit of that. I think we saw a little bit of them kind of the subdued nature that was being felt in the stadium. I think kind of permeated then kind of their team a little bit.
Yeah, I would describe it as just a slight deflation.
A slight deflation. And on the other side of it, I think Gotham kind of just kept going. And
well, what happened next is a brilliant goal.
Yeah, I mean,
for Gotham,
an exceptional run by Midge. She not one but two, three defenders. All coming at her, and this was Midge at her best, where she's running at defenders and she's unstoppable, and she's fainting and getting by her defenders. And we spoke about this as being a key factor for this game, how Gotham could really hurt OL. But we said there had to be this little bit extra of this. And what Midge did with this run, which is very hard to do, is in a moment where she's dazzling, she's dancing, she's getting by, she's running fast, to calm herself down, to take a breath, and to play the perfect. That was the hardest thing in that sequence that she did.
The pass. She did all the hard stuff, but actually the hardest thing was to do the easy thing after you've done all the hard things.
Exactly. And she did that. And, kudos to Lynn, who was exactly where she was supposed to be able to tuck away that ball. But it was a fantastic goal. It was a goal that made the whole stadium go, wow, what a goal.
Okay, and this goal happens. Everybody's watching the team celebrate.
Yeah.
And what are you watching?
I'm looking at the bench. My eyes are immediately drawn to the bench because you have the Gotham players who scored the goal celebrating, and then you have the bench that is celebrating probably even more. It was the bench scored the goal. The staff, the players, they were just hyped.
And
so hyped.
They have some excellent players on that bench.
Yeah. And to see those players just be so hyped about something.
So bought in.
And so bought in, cheerleading, it was a little weird for me to see.
But
I was this is so it just showed the culture of the team. We talked about their vibes. We talked about their togetherness. And in this moment, I witnessed the energy that I had been calling their vibes or whatever, that I had been feeling going into this game, that gave me the sense that they had an edge.
Yep.
And I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was the Ali Krieger effect. I don't know if it was the underdog feeling. I don't know if it was the Mana Shim and Sinead Farley redemption story. But there's this energy and this enthusiasm that reverberated through the whole entire Gotham FC players and staff, that felt like that was what you were playing against.
It was a little reminiscent of old school North Carolina.
Oh,
a little annoying.
Team annoying. Yeah. You said it so well.
I
remember playing those North Carolina teams, and it was you were playing the 11 players on the field, but then you were playing all of the players off the field too, which, it's it's an energy, you know, and with that first goal, you could really feel it.
So I love that. We're talking about key moments of the match. Obviously, Pino exiting the game so early changed the trajectory of everything. Then we have a spectacular Gotham goal, but the key moment that we're calling out is actually the Gotham togetherness and celebration of that goal as being a key factor that ultimately helps uplift a team to a trophy.
Yep.
What happens next is OL ties it, and we're like, dang, we got a game.
So then Gotham goes up 2-1 on a set piece where Ester Gonzalez seemingly was unmarked. Great service from Midge, but in my mind, and I know the way that Laura sets up her teams, like, I don't think that's anything that should ever happen in a championship game, a free header for a corner kick goal. But it happened. And look, OL Reign go into halftime down 2-1.
Okay, let's talk about the importance of halftime.
So going into halftime, you would think that because you lose this figure in this dramatic way with Megan Rapinoe going down, you would think going into that locker room that, you know, it's like sports. It's like coming in and being like, do it for me, like all this stuff. But this is like Megan Rapinoe, and we were like laughing because we were like, what would Pino say? Like she would use her humor and she'd be disarming and
she'd make a joke.
Yeah,
and I think that halftime was an opportunity to reset. You talk about the value of halftime. Almost every game we watch, right? As the reset, as the pause. And so we come back out, the teams take the field, and I think we're all hoping to just see something a little bit different from OL. And we didn't.
Yeah.
But I will say the second half was a battle.
To be fair, the sun went down. It started getting a little dark.
And then the sun went down.
And then it started getting a little weird.
Yeah.
The weird started weirding. And OL actually found a couple chances, and one in particular stood out to me because it was the moment where Veronica Lasco was one-on-one with the keeper. She ended up shooting it into the goalkeeper.
And she's been their lifeline this whole playoff.
Exactly, and I think that's why, like, for me, that kind of like summed it up, where like kind of the luck had run out. And it's not to say that OL couldn't have done it. It was there. But they were missing a little bit of that luck that I think that they had that brought them all the way to the championship game. So we did talk about NWSL After Dark, but it really became NWSL After Dark in extra time.
Oh, yeah. NWSL After Dark was after darking. So, final play of the match. We're 5 minutes into 6 minutes of extra time. The goalkeeper comes out and touches the ball outside of the box, handball. But we don't know that. For me, it was close. We couldn't see anything in the stadium. We're like, why is this going to VAR?
It was so fun though. Like everybody was on their feet. Everybody was like making up like whatever they thought was going on, which was always completely wrong. And it was just like, it was a fun feeling.
Well,
right?
The first thing was like, I don't know what's going on. Then when it went to VAR, like that signaled and told us this is going to change the game, right? Because you only review it if it's like a game-changing situation, a penalty, a red card, yada, yada. Yeah. So I was like, whatever's going to happen here is going to be very big. Yeah. And then I was just thinking, like, there's no way this is going to be a red card. Because it's just like too exciting.
No, there was no way, but there was every way this was going to be a red card because, and people want to say like, oh, what's the best league in the world? This is why NWSL is the most entertaining league in the world, because this is actually quite normal. Like a red card on a VAR decision that probably we didn't have enough cameras to even know if it was like inside or outside the box. And then of course, like the goalkeeper would have to be a field player and like had to switch jerseys. You have Harry Long in the goal trying to coach Neely Martin like how to play goalkeeper, even though she was like, I've done this more than you, Harry Long. And you have this like long dramatic moment where we're all like, what is going on? And we are in it. We are loving it.
We were pulling out our hair, screaming at the top of our lungs. I think it sums it up when like the goalkeeper is red carded and starts to leave the field and then realizes that her teammate is going in goal, a field player playing goalkeeper. So then she takes off her jersey to give it to her teammate, and then she finds out that they have another jersey for her, so she's like zigzagging off the pitch, and that just like summed up how I think everyone was feeling.
I was like, don't take the sweaty jersey, get the fresh kit.
Get the fresh kit for her. And obviously this was a key moment in the match because this was the opportunity for OL to tie it up.
Yeah, and look, this is essentially going to be the last play of the game.
Yes.
And this is all happening, and meanwhile, OL Reign is, sitting on the ball. Like, they know that this is going to be a free kick. Lots of time to talk about, to discuss what's going to happen. Like, Gotham set up, and for some reason it felt like maybe... Like, there was no Pino out there on the field. At that point, there was no Jess Fishlock out there on the field. And it seemed like maybe they were unsure what they were going to do. Or they didn't have, like, a personality that was like, this is how we're going to score the goal. Because...
I think we were like, roll Pino back out there so you can be on one knee and swing that Gumby leg around. It's probably going in.
Well, like, I was just like, and like everyone around us were just like, smash it at the goalkeeper. Yeah. Like, just smash it at her. Because you have a player essentially that like has never played in goal essentially. And you have this huge wall. And this is a moment where like it's 10 seconds left. You're playing basketball. Like, this is the last shot of the game, and you throw it up, and you make your best attempt. And I felt like the kick was lackluster, and it lacked that kind of like determination. And I think it really summed up kind of like the like wah of like the whole game with OL Reign.
Yeah, I think for me it felt a little rushed. I think obviously you already said it, like Rose was the standout player. I trust Rose in that moment, you know, every time. And yet it just was like, sometimes the game just tells you when it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
And when that ball hit the wall and I was just like, make the goalkeeper make a play. Yeah. Like, just for all of us, can we have this woman make a save? Because that would just be the cherry on top of the complete insanity that is this match.
And maybe we were being like a little selfish. Like, we wanted it. we wanted a goal. We wanted it to keep going.
Recapping.
But yeah, and like I think it was fitting for how OL, like how that whole game went for them, unfortunately. And on the flip side, like Gotham, this is great. Like, let's get our field player in goal, and like we're gonna be a team. Like, let's all feel the feels. Like it was like,
oh yeah,
for them it was like this uniting moment. Like, we're all in it together. We're all doing the job.
Yeah. I mean, it was such an exciting match.
Yeah.
We were on the edge of our seats for the whole kit and caboodle of this.
Yeah.
And we cannot recap the NWSL final and Gotham's victory without bringing up the one and only Ali Krieger.
Yeah.
I mean, let me start here.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that it is the warm and fuzziest to the max.
To the max.
This player, our friend, is so loved. She is adored by her teammates, by the teams that she plays on, by the entire community. We said at the beginning, like, oh, these supporters groups, not that impressive. But the Ali Krieger supporter group was massive, and it was loud, and we had Ali Krieger chants reverberating through the stadium the entire time.
Yeah.
And that must be so cool to feel that in your final match.
Yeah.
And why? Why is that? I think about Krieger. I think about, with the U.S. Women's National Team for a long period, players used to use the league as like a stepping stone for the national team. It was like, I want to do this cool thing like World Cup and Olympics, but in order to get ready to those things, I'll just be in club and like I'll play some games and I'll like use that as a tryout, use that as a training environment. And from the very beginning, Ali Krieger has valued the league. she's put her heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
And as a teammate, I have never experienced someone who is able to put so much effort and energy and love into every single day of what she does.
Yeah.
She plays every single game like it's a World Cup
Yeah.
final. She plays 5v5 in training like it's a World Cup final.
Yeah.
I'm like, aren't you exhausted carrying this much for this long? I do not know how you do it. I do not understand how you could carry that much all the freaking time. But you know, you talked about Gotham's culture and their energy and like where to come from. Like you've got a player that has done what she needs to do in her career. And instead of being like, this is my victory tour, she says at the very beginning of the season, I want to win this trophy.
Yeah.
I have not won this trophy. She freaking manifested that.
Yeah, she really did. And it's crazy because it takes me back to like a couple different like Ali Krieger memories. My first ever memory of Ali Krieger was like early on with the national team. She came into camp and she was playing in Germany, and this was Ali Krieger like low bun days.
Early Ali days.
Early Ali Krieger days. And I remember we were like doing a gym workout or something, and and she was in the gym and she was like, you know, lifting weights, and she was counting in German.
What?
And I was like out loud, like, I don't even know German. No. And I was like, wow, this chick's intense.
Wait, was she doing bicep curls?
In my mind she was. and it's the intensity, right? And then another time was when she was left out of the squad for a while with the national team, and then
For 2 years,
and she stayed ready. For a lot of players, they would have been like, my time's done with the national team, like, move on, whatever. But she stayed ready for any moment. And then she gets a last-minute call-up to the 2019 World Cup team. And I distinctly remember the first training session she had back in camp. And we were playing 5v5 or something like that. And she played that training session, which all of us probably took for granted. We were like, oh, just going out to train. She played that training session like it was the last thing she was going to do on this planet. And I remember looking around and like it uplifted all of us. And it gave us the perspective. And to your point, it was so contagious. And she gave everything every day to her craft, and to the very end. And I distinctly watched her that whole game, and it was like every ball that she ran down, I could almost feel her smiling when she was doing it. and yeah, it was easy to cheer for her.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, what a culmination. Well, Ali Krieger is freaking living the storybook moment right now. And obviously it's not over. She's just opening her next chapter, and who knows, there'll be highs and lows, but what a way to go out. It was too cool.
I love that for her. And for our sport, you know.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see. So congratulations to Krieger. Congratulations to Gotham. And we have so much more to discuss.
But I will end with the fact that I always say for the NWSL to be a successful league, we need our major sports markets to be successful. And now we see your team in Angel City, you know, building like a culture, a brand, a team, and having New York be successful as a sports team, as a brand, is so important for the growth of our league, because those are the cities that people look at. Those are the cities that people want to win, that people want to see the stars in. That's where you get your entertainment value in sports. And I think this is something that needs to be built off of for Gotham, and I'm excited what 2024 will bring for them.
Well, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because you say that to me all the time. And as a non-sports fan, I really have no idea if that's true or right, or why you even think that. But good on the big markets. And there's so much more to discuss. We're enjoying recapping this final match. And so we're going to do a little special treat for all of you. And we're coming back with a part two. Part two of this episode, we will continue our conversation about the final and about the state of the NWSL. So, enjoy this episode and tune back in soon. And I think that when this episode releases, it is launch day for our members.
Nice.
For Reimaginers United, our beautiful collection. We expect this to be selling out pretty quickly. So if you're not a member, you might want to join membership today so you can have 24 hours of early access to the drop. This collection is really near and dear to Tobin and I's heart. Basically building a football club that transcends any particular football pitch or any type of field or court at all. It's a club that wins for all, and really embodies the spirit of this business and why we started Re-Inc. So we hope you love it, and thank you so much for all of your support. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
Like, rate, subscribe.
Leave a review. We love you all. We love all of our listeners. We love you all so much in our membership. Thank you for watching.
See ya. Part two.
See you for part two. The Recap Show is a Re-Inc. original series, produced in partnership with HeadGum Studios. If you believe in what we're building and love this show, the most important thing you can do is follow or subscribe.
Hit the plus sign on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave us a review and share the show with a friend. We are so grateful.
The Recap Show is executive produced by Tobin Heath, Kristen Press, Shane Romani, and Jamie Friedman. For HeadGum Studios, The Recap Show is brought to life by supervising producer Katie Moose, associate producer Ali Khan, video engineer and editor Rochelle Chen.
Motion graphics, Eddie Ramos.
Thank you.